The Manchester Derby is known as a football derby match between two Manchester clubs, Manchester City and Manchester United. Although United is 2 years older than City, Manchester natives consider United a fake club. This is true considering the geographical location of both teams' home bases. City's home, Etihad Stadium, located right in the center of Manchester, while United's home, Old Trafford, is just outside the city limits. This is why Manchester City fans often mock United, even though United is actually 2 years older than the Citizens. Besides being called a fake team, the Red Devils are often referred to as a suburban club. Believe it or not, these two Manchester clubs were once friendly and supportive. There was no conflict or tension, just entertaining duels. Once upon a time, the two teams met for the first time on November 1881, when City was still called West Gorton and United was still called Newton Heath. The match itself ended 3-0 in favor of Newton Heath. The inaugural match was also described as an entertaining affair. On February 26, 1889, the two rivals met again, and Newton Heath once again won 3-2. Interestingly, this match between the two cities was held to raise funds for disaster relief following a coal mine explosion that killed 23 miners. At the time, the two teams were still friendly, and relations between the two neighbors were harmonious and undisturbed. It's no wonder they still supported each other. In January 1907, for City players Jimmy Bannister, Herbert Burgess, Billy Meredith, and Sandy Trumbull joined United. The move was welcomed as it was seen as a way to help their fellow Manchester club. Before World War II, most Manchester football fans watched City and United alternately every week. They wore the jerseys of both teams without hesitation, as for them, Manchester was one. After the war, the rivalry changed over time. Both teams thrived and competed, but this rivalry ultimately led to the division of Manchester into East and West. A healthy rivalry turned into an unhealthy and tense rivalry. The decades since World War II have been a particularly emotional era for the Manchester Derby. In December 1970, Jorge Best broke Glyn Pardo's leg, nearly losing it. In the 1973 and 1974 Derby, Mike Doyle and Lou McCurry both received red cards, but refused to leave the field. The referee even intervened and ordered both teams back to the dressing rooms, where they were not allowed to leave until Doyle and McCurry received their punishment. The 70s and 80s were indeed the years when the Manchester Derby entered a fierce rivalry. After that incident, the rivalry between the two teams often remained unremarkable. However, Manchester City began to experience intense jealousy as the two teams experienced contrasting fortunes in the 1990s. While Manchester United began collecting title after title, City were known as the yo-yo team, meaning they fluctuated more in divisions than they achieved success. Indirectly, the City Club was defeated by the fringe clubs of the time. There was also an unforgettable incident that occurred during this period. In the Millennium Derby, Roy Keane made a hard tackle on Alfinge Holland. The incident resulted in a red card, a fine of £150,000, and a 5-week suspension. Roy Keane admitted that he made the tackle intentionally. Hallen's career faded, and he retired 2 years later due to a failed recovery. This incident indirectly intensified the Manchester Derby in the future. The arrival of Sheikh Mansour, who took over at City, further fueled the rivalry between United and City. The influx of money and expensive players slowly made the Citizens a feared team. The signing of Carlos Tevez, along with Ferguson's taunts calling City noisy neighbors, marked the beginning of the modern-day rivalry between the two teams. Manchester City finally defeated United in the Premier League title race in the 2011 to 2012 season. Not only that, City also inflicted the worst defeat in United's history, winning the match 6-1 at Old Trafford. This made United fans wary of City's transformation, which was slowly taking over as the best. Although City still trailed United in terms of titles, in the last 6 seasons, United had only finished above their City rivals once. Despite this, the rivalry between the two teams remains intense,